Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on how we can be driving profitability in your services organization with Symfoni WE. My name is Nora Rinnan, and I will be your moderator today. I am managing the marketing here at Fujitsu ServiceNow practice, and I'm excited to be introducing you to this session here today. In this webinar, we will show you how you can increase your efficiency as a services organization by the use of the ServiceNow platform and Symfoni WE. Today's speakers will be Peter van Dam from Fujitsu, who is the product manager of Symfoni WE, and Manuel Larkel from ITSM Group. Can you do the next slide? Yeah, thank you. Before we start, I have just a few practicalities I would like to cover in the next slide, Peter. This webinar is scheduled to last for 1 hour with a Q&A session in the end. You will all be muted throughout the webinar to avoid any interruptions. If you want to ask questions, please submit these by using the section called Questions in the menu on your right side of the screen. We will do as many questions as possible within the time frame in the end. If your question is not answered, we will contact you with the answer after the webinar has ended. Within the next days, you will receive an email with the slides and the recording of this presentation. With this, I will hand the word over to Peter, who will tell you more about how Symfoni WE can support your organization.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'm going to show you the agenda. So for today, I'm going to talk a little bit about our product called Symfoni WE. After that, we will have Manuel talking about ITSM Group's journey with Symfoni WE, and I'm going to show you a product demo, a short product demo, and then leave some time for questions and wrap up. So basically, for those of you that don't know Fujitsu yet, we are an elite ServiceNow partner and actually a full lifecycle partner. So that means that we are delivering support, training, consulting, implementations, design and development, and so forth. But what I want to talk about today is our ServiceNow solutions that we offer in the market, and more specifically, how as a service organization, you can actually make money by using ServiceNow and Symfoni WE. So today we're going to talk about professional services and professional service organization. So how can you actually make money or increase your bottom line or your profit within a services organization? Well, the same principles apply for any services company, whether you are delivering pizzas or are a consulting service company. You need to deploy your resources in many ways to deliver these services, basically, whether it's fixed price project, time material assignments, managed services, support. It all comes down to deploying your resources, and that means that increasing profitability on those resources will have the highest impact on your bottom line. So how can we increase profitability of resources? It's easy, right? You can put in higher rates on whatever services you sell, but that is probably not a good idea. Your customers will go to the competitor. You can do something else. You can lower the costs that you have and get more working hours, basically, on your employees. Then your employees will go to your competitors. Another option would be to not pay taxes. That will increase your profitability tremendously, and that also means jail time. So what else can we do to increase profitability? Well, basically reduce waste time of your people and get a higher billable utilization rate for your resources. That is actually something that is possible if you understand the way people are using their time and if you are able to plan those people in an efficient way. Now, I truly hope that your company does not look like this. However, most organizations still live in a fragmented tooling landscape dominated by Excel sheet and actually look like this picture. If this is your organization, it's impossible to run it in an efficient way and to actually plan your resources in an efficient way. So what do you need to rise from the chaos? You need to gain insight in the way people are spending their time, have all the information at hand to optimize resource planning, to avoid getting any surprises. For that, of course, you will need transparency and insight in each and every step of the process. You need real-time information, relevant information right at hand when you need it, to be able to be predictable and to do accurate forecasting of every step of the process. So basically, it all comes down to have people focus on the things that matter. For that, you need one system of record, which is obviously ServiceNow. Not just one system of record, you need one integrated value chain where Symfoni WE comes in place. So this is how it's done. It's all about automating professional services and have an end-to-end value chain. So Symfoni WE is offering everything starting from product planning over to human capital management, over to the sales cycle, into the delivery cycle with PSO, into financial handling of your deliveries and services, up to the point where you can actually steer your company throughout reports, dashboards, and cockpits. So we at Fujitsu, we have been using Symfoni WE to run our entire business for several years now, and we actually have been measuring the benefits that we got out of this. So we did see a reduction of waste time, about 10% in the first year actually. We did see the month closing for invoicing be reduced from days to hours and so forth. So there is over 50 applications in this value chain that we offer. They are all very tightly integrated to help you make informed decisions in real time. But to simplify this, I broke it down into basically 6 components: products, resources, capabilities, sales, delivery, and finance. These are the 6 components you need to think about if we're talking about an end-to-end value chain for professional services. And the good news is that all of these are covered within Symfoni WE with the 4 solutions that we offer: Symfoni WE for education, sales, professional services, and finance. So let's have a look on why you need all these components. First one, products is quite often forgotten, but this actually defines your business. This is your promise to your customers, and it is essential to integrate this with everything else, with sales, delivery, and education. The obvious one is resources. A decent resource management should be in place to deploy your resource in the most efficient way, right? There's nothing more frustrating to not being able to follow a plan because it was based on wrong information. For example, suddenly there is some holidays going on that you didn't know about, right? So this is a huge source of waste time and decreased billable utilization, and this is why everything needs to be integrated with your resource planning. Capability. You need to be able to deliver on the promise to your customers, right? So your resource needs the right qualifications. Another source of waste time and wrong delivery staffing is not having the right resources when a project starts, right? Huge source of frustration. This is why capability should be integrated with everything else. Same goes for sales, right? Sales should be fully aligned because this connection between sales and delivery happens all the time. You have a lot of surprises if they are disconnected, a lot of waste time, and this is why you should integrate sales with all the other processes. So you are actually selling what you can deliver, and you can deliver what has been sold, right? Smooth transition from sales to delivery is actually an essential component in this value chain. The next obvious part is your delivery. This is what it's all about. To be in control of delivery, to have healthy and profitable projects so you can focus on the things that matter. And for that, you need real-time insight in the budgets, what has been forecasted, and what is actually going on. The only way to do this is to integrate delivery with everything else, with your resource plan, with sales, with capability, with your products, and also with the last component, finance. And finance should really not be that difficult, right? End of month closing, invoicing your customers, it should be easy. And it can be easy if you have real-time and accurate information in place coming from all the other components leading up to finance. So you are able to truly understand your revenue, charges, cost flow, both internally and externally. So what you need is fast and error-free invoicing, starting whenever you are ready to start and not sooner, not later. That is essential, and I will show you that later in a demo how we take care of that. So basically, what we are offering here is increased profit for your services organization, right? It's not magic, it's simple math. If you can decrease your waste time, increase your billable utilization, then you will have more profit as an organization. We have done this exercise. We have been calculating this in an organization with 100 resources in delivery. You can actually gain 5% or even more, depends in which shape you are when you start, of course. But if you gain 5%, you can actually have a profit gain of 600,000 euros each and every year. So that is a big promise, of course. Now, you don't need to take my word on this. I invited our customer ITSM group. So I'm going to leave the stage to Manuel Leukel, who will talk to you about their journey with Symfoni WE and hopefully confirm whatever I have been promising you just now. So Manuel, I'm going to take up your slideshow. The floor is yours.
Hi, Peter. Thanks a lot. Yeah, maybe I start with a quick introduction of myself. So my name is Manuel Leukel. I'm working with ITSM Group and being responsible for the engagement managers within our ServiceNow practice. And also I've been responsible for the introduction of Symfoni WE within the ITSM Group. If we move one slide forward, what is on the agenda for my speech, so to say? I would start very quickly with a quick overview of the ITSM group. So maybe that you have an understanding in which industry, in which business we are active. Would shortly describe our challenges we have faced. And this leads a little bit to the selection process of Symfoni WE. I would describe in detail and then show how the real rollout, how the project plan for the introduction of Symfoni WE from a timing perspective, from a structure and from some lessons learned and pitfalls we gathered looks like, and end with some impressions and feedback on the usage of Symfoni WE now with being live with Symfoni WE for approximately 3 to 4 months. And this perfectly would then lead back to you, Peter, that you can show the demo of the system. Yeah, so next page, let's start with the ITSM group. So ITSM is not short for IT Service Management, it's more short for Inspiring and Tailored Service Mastery. So ITSM group is a professional services organization, and our services mainly consists out of consultancy around processes, methodologies, and technology. So examples for processes and methodologies are, for sure, we do IT service management consultancy, but also consultancies in areas like security management, GRC, DevOps, and other topics. With regards to technology, we are a ServiceNow partner, so we try to advise and support our customers on their digital journey end to end, while bringing expertise in the process and methodology area to the table, but also being capable to realize those designed and designed things with our engines ServiceNow. Besides this, we have a history in providing trainings for various things, starting from ITIL over Prince2 and other common frameworks in the market. So this shall a little bit describe what our core business is around, and what you can see is that we are selling first and foremost our consultants to our customers. If we go one slide ahead, where are we making our business? So ITSM Group is mainly located or doing business in Central Europe, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and recently founded a new company in the Netherlands. Besides those four markets where we are doing business, we have a delivery center for our ServiceNow practice in Romania. In total, we are talking about approximately 200, 210 employees. Most of them for sure are consultants doing or rendering services on customer side, but for sure beside our consultants, the organization consists out of a sales department and also some internal service departments, which each and every company has with a certain size, like marketing, HR, and controlling and all that stuff. Yeah, this should describe a little bit the complexity of our organization, describe a little bit what kind of business we are doing to better understand our journey towards Symfoni WE. Why did we think about introducing Symfoni WE or something, or let's say a product to increase our operational efficiency? Well, one trigger is that we, especially over the last few years, are significantly growing from an employee point of view. So the complexity of managing the organization is strongly increasing. And over the years, for sure, as it is usual in most of the companies, and as Peter already showed on one of his slides, we introduced several different systems. So our frame conditions have been that we have had a customer relationship management, the sales department was working with. We have had self-developed tools for capturing the times of the consultants and generating timesheets out of it, even with some project management capabilities, so that beside the employees, the project managers define certain work packages where employees could book their times on. And very many activities took place still in Excel, like specifically the skill and capability management, which of our consultants is capable to do what, and also the staffing of our projects. And this was mainly driven by the team managers. And so we did not have one integrated system where you can see all the capabilities, all the resources we have, and make use of this entire pool in staffing the projects. For sure, we did this in various meetings with various emails and communication, but turning on the or bringing up the efficiency, there we saw room of improvement, so to say. So we assessed the as-is situation, figured out that there are a lot of various systems which could be more integrated, and set ourselves a target that we come to a more integrated process, especially from a sales to delivery to cash view. So with those three main pillars, doing sales, handing over to delivery, and then doing the invoicing at the end of the month, we wanted to integrate this entire value chain in a more efficient way. If we go on the next slide, therefore, because doing tool evaluations, tool assessments is also some kind of service we provide to our customers, we did the same for ourselves. We identified key players in the organization, starting for sure with the CEO and COO, with some heads of the business units, with project manager roles, with consultants being customer on site at the customer, but also with guys from controlling and from HR, and gathered our requirements across our core value chain. And our core value chain, as already described, goes from sales to the delivery, the resource planning, the service provisioning, and then at the end of each month to the invoicing. And we described our requirements, how we want to do business in future, how we want to increase integration in between different functions in the organization. And yeah, we heard from Symfoni WE, we have been willing to use ServiceNow for ourselves, because we are selling ServiceNow, we are ServiceNow partner. So we assessed Symfoni WE for our requirements, and yeah, it was almost a perfect fit, which was then the reason that we decided to go for Symfoni WE. But what we did is we defined our requirements before selecting Symfony WE. I guess this is still always important to know what I want to achieve before selecting the product. Yeah, then after we have selected the product, if we go one slide ahead, we started introducing Symfony WE. Here you can see our timeline for the Symfony WE introduction. What you see is that we started with a professional service organization module, followed by the finance module, and at the very end with sales and education. We started each and every module with a preparation phase. What we did there is more or less extensive training. Extensive means 2 to 3 days of training how the module is working. This training has been done jointly with Fujitsu and the key resources in the organization for the various modules we identified, and who have then later on been responsible for the rollout. So we could do after this training the rollout by ourselves. As our delivery unit is quite diverse, so the staffing process, for example, for classic project business customer on-site was not similar to the staffing process of, for example, a training. We clustered the rollout in a pilot and two different waves. For sure, you could also do it in one go, but we decided to have this step-by-step approach so that we ensure that from each different stakeholders in the delivery organization, the requirements are met. After PSO, we started with finance. Also, same approach. We did a pilot for one business unit, and there we are currently in, and now figured out that everything is working, and then it's nothing more than putting everything in place for all the other projects and delivery units that they also can use Symfony WE for finance. You see that we started with sales and education quite late. So you could shorten the entire time frame for sure if you would start with sales and education in parallel to PSO. So I personally would see no issue in that, but our frame conditions, so to say, shaped our project plan. So we decided jointly that it is not reasonable to change the CRM system in the fourth quarter of a year where everybody is very, very busy. So we wanted to start with a CRM part at the beginning of a new year, that we then also have the entire target system of the sales guys and all that stuff for one complete year in one system, and avoid too much friction with migrations and other stuff. Pretty same story with education. So capability management was one very, very important requirement for us, skill management and capability management. And well, the starting point of education was mainly depending also on the staffing of the capability manager role in our organization. So management was willing that the new capability manager has the possibility to participate in the rollout of the capability management system. And yeah, this at the very end ends up that we start with education when the capability manager was on board, and not started it from day one. We released the Symfony WE rollout. Maybe one important thing, you can shorten the time frame. I'm confident to say this is possible because the product is competitive, but as a customer, as the organization introducing the product, I would not underestimate the organizational change which goes hand in hand with a new product. So in the past, if you remember, we have had several things in Excel which have been maintained by 1 or 2 persons, and now with Symfony WE in parallel, we introduced more formal roles in the organization. And those roles work with Symfony WE, but it's not just learning Symfony WE, how to do or to live this new role from a technical point of view, how to create a booking or things like this in Symfony WE. Peter will show, I guess, later. but it's also how to behave in this new role in the organization. And this is the reason why we did not put the highest possible pressure on the timeline to make everything, let's say, in 12 or 14 weeks. So we took the time needed to really facilitate the organizational change going hand in hand with the Symfoni WE rollout. So far to our plan, so as you can see, around about 6 months, and then we will be, or we are almost done now with a complete rollout of Symfoni WE, and are done with a rollout where afterwards the organization is capable to run the system. Yeah, Peter, if you would go one slide ahead, I'm already coming close to the end of my slide deck. What changed now with the introduction of Symfoni WE in, for example, my day-to-day routine? What is really amazing and what is giving me much more time to spend for activities for our customers is that I have various informations available with one click without doing any extensive 30-minute, 1 hour Excel magic I need to do to have the information available. Yeah, my personal highlight is always point 1, where I can see for all the ServiceNow departments here, for example, each and every bubble is one department. Our ServiceNow practice is more or less consisting out of 4 departments. I can see for each and every department the actual and the planned utilization, which was in the past quite a challenge to put the different figures from Excel and from our formerly self-developed time recording database together to get this figure. And now, even if the data, as we bring in the data accurately, I can see this 2 to 3 months in the future, which gives me more time to react on when I see that the utilization is going down, to reach out to the sales guys or to our customers to talk about how we can generate new opportunities or facilitate changes in projects as required. Even as a manager on a resource level, I'm not only capable to do it on the department level, I can do it on a per employee level. So the system knows the personal targets of our employees, who needs to have which utilization, so to say, and I can deep dive for each and every employee whether he is making his targets or not. And in case we jointly figure out, even the employee himself can see this, if we are figuring out it's currently challenging making the targets, we can jointly sit together and find a way that the employee at the very end makes his targets. As a project manager, what is a real benefit is that I have, per one click, total transparency and an overview for each and every project where I am with my budget from a financial point of view, but also from a timing point of view. And from a financial point of view, even so transparent that I can exactly see what already was invoiced to the customer, what is pending, and what is planned. And those 3 dimensions was quite a challenge to gather this in the past, because we have had our plannings in an Excel, we have had the actuals in a database, we have had the invoicing in another system. So you have had to bring together various sources to get what I now have with one click available as a project or delivery manager. And my last highlight is the availability or capacity dashboards, where I can easily see with yellow, red, green coloring where there might be availabilities or capacities left. That might be the case. I'm going in on early Monday morning and see that there is a certain employee who has this week 40 hours left, because maybe the project was shifted by the customer, and now this employee is on the bench. I can see this now with one click and maybe put this employee into another project, or make use of him for another customer where I have currently maybe a high workload or a big backlog. Yeah, so my 5 highlights, which really changed my day-to-day click routine. So first thing I do when starting my working day is going to Symfoni WE and checking my projects and resources now, because it's easier than putting everything together and managing it in Excel. Yeah, my last slide for today, the success story of Symfoni WE. We already can say it's a success story. Still, we have some way to go to really have everything rolled out and automated. But there always is room for improvement. But already so far, Symfoni WE gave to the delivery organization a new degree of transparency, which makes work for project managers, for department heads, line managers, much more easy. And even for the consultants, it's much more easy, because it's for those guys, it's now quite easy to record their times and have in real time a dashboard where they can see how good they are in making their yearly targets. Yes, Peter, that's from my side. Would hand back to you. Yeah, and in case for sure, I'll stay in the call for the Q&A session at the very end.
Thank you, Manuel. I think that's a great story. And the good thing is it actually confirms what I was promising before. So thank you for that. I think it's an amazing journey we are in together, and we'll have a lot more fun in the next coming months. So that's looking good. So what I want to do next is actually show you a little bit of the product. I'm going to do a product demo. I'm not going to show you all the applications. As I said, it's over 50 integrated applications. I'm going to show you the highlights because we are a little bit limited in time, of course. Don't get scared about the whole bunch of functionality that you can get with Symfoni WE. You need to think big, and then you can start small. As Manuel demonstrated in their project plan, they started with one module, started up small without any risks, and then took it to the next level each and every step. So let me pop up my demo environment. Let's see, here it is. So now I'm gonna go well, very fast, very high level. On our demo instance here, we have a demo organization called WE Entertainment. This is actually similar to Manuel's business or ITSM group, except they are selling actors and singers and entertainment products basically within the organization. They have the traditional departments, professional services across Europe, across US. They have a lot of departments, kind of a similar setup for a traditional consulting company basically. They have a lot of different people working there. They have employees, they have external contractors, all the different persona profiles that we have in Symfoni WE. So I'm going to start up with, well, actually one of the last things that Manuel also showed in his slides. I'm going to go in as Brad Pitt, and Brad here is a resource manager. So, of course, there's many tools that Brad is using within Symfoni WE. One of the things is the availability dashboards, as Manuel mentioned as well. So Brad is responsible for the Actors US, one of the departments in WE Entertainment. And immediately he can see for the entire department how many hours do we have available or basically are not planned. So you can see here in week 10 next year, everybody is basically on the bench. They have 540 something hours available. And it actually increases even from week 14 because some people are changing working schedules. If we want to look into a little bit more details, there's a lot of different dashboards. This is just one of them where Brad can actually zoom in on the periods he would like to see, on the different resources he would like to investigate. We're looking now at all the senior people within his department because they have the highest impact if they are on the bench. And we can see for the next month the total available hours they have. how many hours each and every week they are available, and what their utilization is each and every week. So this already helps Brad to start focusing on the people that need attention and start planning them. Another view would be the resource availability map, where you have a more detailed view on the actual bench hours, as we call it in consulting. If we zoom out for, let's say, maybe 6 months, we can see when the problem starts. So already in 3 weeks from now, we have some people here on the bench, some more people on the bench, so we need to take action on that. Here in week 10, as we saw before, we're gonna get some serious issues and we need to start planning for that, right? If we're looking at William Shatner here, for example, we can see his utilization is pretty good. When he's on the bench here full time, he has 36 hours available, and we see that changing to 40 hours. Now that is because Symfoni WE is working what we call time driven. So things can change in the future, in the past, without losing information on the current situation, basically. So if I open up William here, to explain this a little bit more, this is what we call a resource profile. There's a lot of information here, but the thing is, and this is very unique for Symfoni WE, all of this is time driven. So if I look, for example, at his working schedule, today William is working 36 hours, and in the future he will be working 40 hours, which is in the working schedule. Now, if we look at his utilization, for example, future utilization here, we immediately see what the status is. If William is reaching his targets each and every month, how much he's going to be billable. We can look into all the details that are behind these numbers, if he's performing against target or not. And if I open up a detail on December, for example, we can see for each and every week, or even drill down on each and every day, what the status is, how many billable hours, how many leave hours, exceptional leave, non-billable hours, and so forth. There's a lot of details here. I'm not going to go into all the details, but we can drill down in each and every week. We can drill up into the quarter, into the entire year, if you like, whatever information you are looking for to analyze, how well is William performing and should we take some action here. If I take this back, this is just one of the tools that Brad is using as resource management. Another interesting view would be the planning console, which gives you even more information. So the planning console, we can look at utilization, time usage, booking for resources, for delivery, and so forth. So let's see if we can look at the utilization of Brad's team here. So I filtered down on, again, the senior people here. If I look at the dashboard, immediately I see red is bad, green is good, and orange is somewhere in between. Orange means non-billable hours are planned for this person. I see even here that some people are overperforming, so we should probably take some action on that as well. We don't want to overbook people. And if I look into some details on William again here, if I open up utilization for a particular day, I can see where this 100% utilization is coming from. There's actually going to be about 5 billable hours here, and this is coming from 2 different bookings that we made, or the plan that we made for William. If I close this down again, I can switch the planning view into what we call the bookings or the resource plan. I can zoom in maybe on 24 weeks. So this is how a well-organized plan looks like. This is of course demo data. In reality, this will be a little bit more chaotic, but you can see that people are working on multiple projects at the same time. Here William is working at three projects at the same time, which is not a problem because there's a very intelligent planning engine behind all of this. If I open up one of those bookings, just to illustrate, we can do planning based on a percentage of available time, a number of hours, repeated bookings, so every Monday 4 hours on this project, schedule bookings, or even have the system just allocate you on a project whenever you are available in a certain period. While we are planning, we have the full overview of the resource utilization during that period, which other projects this person is working on. which other persons are working on the project that we are planning for, and so forth. We also see the impact. So here we try to book William for 46%. The system tells us it's not possible because there is some holidays going on during that period. And this is impacted by some other bookings, other projects that take a higher priority than this one. So this is how we plan. And whatever we do in the planning, it happens in real time. So all the dashboards will change in real time. If I go back now, I'm going to go in as a regular employee called Robert. So now that we have a plan, then Robert will start working according to the plan. There's several applications that Robert can use, but one of the most important one will be timesheets. So whenever Robert is working every week, he's supposed to submit a timesheet. There's already a timesheet in here for this week. And this is not just a timesheet application, right? This is so much more than that. It is fully integrated with, for example, leave management, personal time off. So we can see here on Friday, Robert has a leave request going on. It's already in the timesheet. He doesn't have to put it in because this already went through the process. So here we can see this is a request for holiday on Friday. It was actually approved by anyone that was impacted. So the different projects that Robert worked on, we can see while we are approving this, we can see if he's still entitled to have some holidays, if we are actually able to approve this, who will be impacted, and so forth. So all of this is very much integrated and gives you real-time information to make a decision. When Robert is creating his timesheet, he already put in some hours here. You can see that he's working according to his schedule, 8 hours each and every day, 40 hours in the week. So integrated with his schedule, we have some information on billable hours, performance against his billable target, how much is in this timesheet and potential other timesheets already submitted this week, and so forth. So there's a whole lot of information. All he needs to do is just add today's work. Let's say he did some recording on DreamWorks and he was working abroad for that. I'm going to add it to the timesheet for today. And there you go. So we also have time type. So this could lead to, additional charge to the customer or maybe potentially an additional benefit to the employee because he was working abroad. So there's a lot of intelligence behind all of this. So these are timesheets. There's of course much more that Robert will be using. Timesheets, leave requests. Let's open up Robert again here. I'm not going to go through all the applications. There's an entitlements to request, for example, parental leave or any other thing that an employee can be entitled to. There's the education part. So Robert can manage his training certifications. Robert can also manage skills, for example. There's a whole skills application here. Robert can look into his planning. So what is the utilization? What am I spending my time on? Where should I be spending my time on in the next 6 weeks? All of this. And of course, every employee, regardless your role, you will have the MyWe dashboard homepage, where you will be directed to what matters, to what you need to focus on, right? So Robert needs to submit this week's timesheet. There's a leave request still pending approval, and so forth. He actually has some expense reports submitted. So there's an expense application in here as well to allocate costs to your projects, to reimburse employees, to charge expenses to your customers, and so forth. For Robert, it's all very transparent. He just takes out the mobile, takes a picture of a receipt, sends it into WE, and submits it for approval. Once it goes through the approval process, then Robert gets reimbursed, right? There's a lot of functionality here within the MyWe homepage. There's the calendar view and so forth. Too much to show you now. And so I'm actually going to go to the next persona, which will be Alexandra. And Alexandra is a product manager. She's actually a contractor, as you can see here. So she has a little bit less applications than Robert because she's an external person, but she's also managing the product catalog for us. And I just want to show you this before I go into the sales part, that this is a crucial application or piece of information within the entire value chain. So you need to set up your entire product catalog and put these in education catalog, delivery catalog, and a sales catalog. If I go into one of those products called Rent an Artist, it's just something that this organization is doing. There's a lot of things to say about product management. Important to know is that there's also pricing involved. So for each and every product, you can have your pricing defined. You can have multiple pricings going on, promotional pricing, customer pricing, so forth. And you can have all kinds of discounts modeled, tiered volume discounts, all these kind of things. And the system will simply calculate, what the pricing will be and to which discount people are entitled to once we go into a sales process, which I will show you next. So let's close down this product part here. I'm gonna go in as a sales guy called Tim Cook. So let's see what Tim can do. We have our products defined, so now we're gonna actually sell the products. So Tim here, without going through all the applications, most important is opportunities. So he has 2 opportunities in discovery. So let's open up this one here. This takes you through the whole life cycle of an opportunity, starting with a lead in discovery, basically up to a closed won deal, which then becomes a contract for potentially delivery, right? There's a lot of information here. This is an opportunity for Universal Music Group. Let me take a side step to the account. So there's full account and contact management in here as well, where we also track everything around this customer. We track the deliveries for this customer. We have activities going on for this particular customer and so forth. But of course, going into the full CRM and marketing part would take us too far. Here on the opportunity, we can see that, well, Tim is actually doing this opportunity at this account, but the account responsible is Celine Dion. So Celine will be in what we call the watch list because she is a stakeholder in this opportunity. Other people that will be in here are stakeholders that are, for example, supporting as a pre-sales and so forth. What is important in opportunity is, of course, the items. This is linked to the product catalog. So if I open up, for example, here, Rent an Artist. So Tim is selling an artist to Universal here. He just needs to, select the product from the catalog. He needs to select the appropriate pricing and then just put in the numbers, how much he wants to sell, what discount he wants to give, and then the system will tell us, well, this is the pricing for the product, and this is what will end up, on the quote that you will send to the customer, right? The totals are right here, and as you take it through the opportunity, the system will ask you for more information like a close date, a probability, and so forth. So I'm not going to take you throughout the whole process here. What is important is, of course, we can do some checklists and so forth, but we can also, track all of our activities. We can have automated activities going on. There's separate activity management dashboards. There's activities on accounts, on contacts, on marketing campaigns, and of course, on opportunities. So if I need to call Mr. Universal here, is pending for this opportunity. Let's say I want to do that today, so I'm just going to put it in progress. It's simple to use, easy drag and drop. I called this person and this was a successful call and I achieved what I wanted to achieve, so I'm just going to put it in successful activity, right? This is how we are tracking all of this. And then probably the most important part is handing over to delivery. And this is easy. We are selling a couple of products here. For example, Rent an Artist, I can drag and drop it onto an existing delivery that is already going on for this customer, or I can start from scratch here and say, I'm going to prepare the handover for delivery way up front while I'm still in the proposal stage. Then the system will do some matching, ask me if there's any existing delivery I want to choose, or take a new delivery and start a delivery from scratch, or even from delivery templates, right? And then again, matching is going on. We know we're selling Rent an Artist. There's some templates for this defined by the delivery organization. So we can just select deliver an artist, yeah, that seemed to be very appropriate. We need to fill in a couple of fields here. The start date, expected start date for the delivery comes from the opportunity, and then we just create it. For the sake of time, I'm not going to do this. Here you can see that we already have a delivery that we're preparing for the PSO organization to rent an actor, for example, right? So all of this brings us to the delivery side of things. So let's do this. Can I just close this down? Sorry. Let's save it. Just trying to close my screen here. Let's go back. Okay, sorry. I had a little hiccup in my browser. But now we are going into delivery. Let's close this one as well. So I'm going to go in as a delivery manager, John Provolta. So John already knows upfront what sales is doing. He can start planning for all of that and so forth. I'm going to go very quickly. John will be using his delivery dashboard basically. So he can immediately see which deliveries that he is involved in as a stakeholder, which are in trouble from a financial perspective, from a time perspective. We have health checking going on everywhere here. So we immediately know where we need to check. I'm going to open one delivery as an example. This is a project called Blockbuster. Since this is demo data, this is automatically planned. So there's too many hours on this. We can see it already in the health check. We need to take some action here. The project is over budget. We are checking if everything is being charged, if finance is under control and so forth. So we will inform you way up front. We have all these budgets going on time, on the money. We have the financial part going on, where we can actually see today's status of the project. We're going to make 39% profit, which is pretty good. If we follow the plan, it's going to be 40% with 12K margin on the profit. We have a lot of analytics going on per month, per quarter, on all the details that are behind those numbers, of course. But then in a delivery, what is important is what are we delivering? Again, these are the products that come from the actual opportunity that we have sold, and this is what we are delivering to the customer. Can have separate budgets on that as well. How are we delivering? This will determine, if we spend time on this particular task, it will be non-billable or it can be directly billable and so forth. And when are we delivering? So we can have some phases, start end dates and so forth, which is all then coming from the planning, of course, from all the bookings and the plan. There's a lot of reporting going on. There's a lot of dashboards that I can't show you today. But for example, there's time reporting. If you need to do monthly timesheet with your customer, here we can see for each person that worked on a project, we can actually generate a timesheet, open it up, print it out, get it signed and done. Without going to all the details on the financial part of a delivery, we have billing rules. You can define any contract that you have with a customer, fixed price, recurring fixed prices, time material, anything really. Whatever sales guys come up with, whatever they have sold, you can translate this in a billing rule. You can define delivery rates. Everything can also change over time based on cost categories, individuals, tasks in the project, whatever is needed, and this will generate charges and revenue recognition, which actually brings us all the results that you see on top here. And the last part I want to go in very quickly now because we are running out of time is the financial part. So I'm just going to quickly go in as someone called Michael Jackson. We have what we call the invoice assistant or month closing assistant. So as I said in the very beginning, you should not invoice when you're not ready to invoice. This happens all the time if you're not using Symfoni basically. But first we check are all the timesheets in from all the people that should put in timesheets. Are they all approved? We give you the results, tell you how much hours we suspect are missing and so forth. We check if all the expenses are in, if they are all approved. We check if there are no billing rule issues, if somebody forgot to put in a rate or we cannot find the rates for people, things like that. Any issues, they should be solved before we start invoicing, because this is all based on the charges generated from the deliveries, from billing rules, from the cost engine, and so forth. These charges, we just click and then invoice them, resulting in invoices. And in the end, when we have done all the invoicing, we can see that the result for this month, basically, right? When it comes to the charges or what we send out from invoices internally, externally, the revenue or the actual results, internal and external, and costs, external and internal costs, right? Now, I can talk for a couple more hours on the finance part. I'm not going to do that today. And just to wrap up this demo, I want to go in as one last guy, Bruce Springsteen. He is the boss, and the boss is looking from a bird's eye view. So he's looking at the different cockpits. We have one for education, sales, finance, and PSO. He can look at finance, at how are my departments performing when it comes to revenue, margin, profitability on delivery, and so forth. So in one view, I see where do I need to pay attention. I can look at revenue, charges, and costs for all the different departments in a single view, see what's going on internal, external, local costs, and so forth. And then the last one, very quickly, is PSO. So in PSO, we are looking at, again, department performance, more important, utilization of the different departments should be around 80%. We're looking at total billable hours. We're looking at the plan and the risk in the plan. So orange means this is not signed by a customer yet. So there is risk in this plan. And in the end, we're looking at how are we spending our time with the entire organization? Are we doing enough billable hours? Do we have a lot of exceptional leave? All these kind of things. And this is how we actually analyze and steer the entire company. So this is, well, very high level and very fast, of course, a demo of the product. That leaves us only a couple of minutes for questions. Nora, did you receive any questions, or do we have any questions?
Hi, Peter. No, I haven't received any questions. So, and I think it's also time to close up now. So, thank you very much, both Peter and Manuel, for this session. This was all we had for you today, and we hope that you found this useful. As I already said in the beginning, you will receive an email with a link to the presentation and also the recording. And if you want to get in touch with us regarding Symfoni WE, please feel free to contact us. We will also frequently host webinars related to the ServiceNow platform, so make sure you follow us on LinkedIn to get the updates, or visit our webpage where you can sign up for our newsletter. I will end this webinar by wishing you all a great day, and thank you so much for listening.